if you take this into its entirety, right, like the marketing campaign for this show right from the off, it's like they've made every wrong move possible.
Mm-hmm.
They've done everything possible to alienate the fans, and every like disastrous trailer that they've lurched from, trying to go like different directions, trying to show you different things, trying to put shitty soundtracks on top of it to make it all like moody and emotional and stuff. None of it has worked because you have pissed off the people that you tried to win over. I say you tried to win them over. You didn't really. You pissed off the people that you should have tried to win over. And it's what did they expect with so much animosity towards this show? Nobody was going to give it a chance at this point. I mean, it doesn't help that it is actual garbage at the same time, but
that could have shut us all up immediately. What shut us up with House of the Dragon?
yes, it's good.
It was actually good. And we had all that baggage that we were carrying around from Game of Thrones, and we tossed that aside.
I'm happily like sitting here eating crow on this one because I've got a clip of us in live stream talking about it and me confidently saying like, well, no one's going to give a shit about this show. It's dumb. Why have we got a prequel to a series that ended on such a bad note? It's just another thing for George to do so he doesn't have to write Winds of Winter. I think it's going to suck. And well, here we are. I was wrong on that one. Called it wrong. It's been good. It's been really good, and it's getting better with every episode. And I'm pretty invested in it now.
To be fair, there were some elements of those first 2 episodes, I would say, that I think I can't remember if there was a live stream that you boys did that I think Gary said that I wish Rhaenyra hadn't had this victory so easily, getting the egg back from Daemon, that had been more earned. I can't remember if you said it or someone else said it, but and that I was starting to worry about that were they going to just make her this perfect person?
I was too.
Yeah,
we don't have to worry about that anymore.
She is most definitely not a perfect person.
Yes,
no.
She's not at all. She's actually a realistic person, not just one facet of existence.
Well, so that article that was like, how can I root for anybody in House of the Dragon when they're all evil? I was like, holy shit, man! I don't even think of them that way. A lot of these characters, even the evil decisions some of them make, I'm like, oh, you got to understand why. You can't just be like, you're all evil. I don't want any of you on the throne.
I think that's what's going to be the tough thing about like scripted entertainment. What we're dealing with is there's too much literal. That like people are just trying to really project the real world on Westeros, which is supposed to be Middle Ages, like the worst of the worst Middle Ages. It is a patriarchal society. Women are second-class citizens. That's part of the world. Those are the rules of the world. And anytime a woman tries to step out of that, she gets slaughtered. She gets absolutely slaughtered. Or when they occasionally get to the throne, there's so much baggage that they end up being terrible. They end up being absolutely terrible because that's what the world is. That's what the world is. And people keep on trying to imprint their own like atheist beliefs, and like it's crazy some of the shit I see online being projected on House of the Dragon. Like
this is this fundamental lack of understanding where it's like things like say marriage in the Middle Ages. You do not look at it in the modern context of like two people fall in love and they get married because they want to spend the rest of these unions, particularly amongst like royal families and like influential people, they were political business partnerships. That's all they were. And you cannot think of them in the modern context, but that's what they're trying to project onto stuff like this. It's so...
I think the show held those people still. The show was like, marry for love, Rhaenyra, and then a bunch of things go wrong, and it's like, you can't do that anymore, and everybody in this bloody realm has to do these things. Even with that, people were like, wow, Rhaenyra's the hero and everyone else is the villain because she wants to marry for love. Which, by the way, I wouldn't say that's what she's after with what we've seen.
She's after the throne. I mean, she wants it. Like
I just think some people.
Yeah, she was never after love. Yeah, she just.
Part of the most mind-blowing thing, and I've stopped trying to read reviews from random people on Twitter at this point, is the whole like, I hate Alicent. She's the worst person ever, and Rhaenyra is like the hero. I was just like,
No, but that's what's great about the show is that you can see the good and bad in both of them, and it's interesting that people are jumping to, everyone's bad, because that is kind of the perspective that people take these days, is that it is very black and white thinking. I'm great, you're bad. You know, it's like if you do one wrong thing, you're canceled. There's no concept of nuance or apology or like learning from your mistakes. Everything is just like
I would
Well, I think
argue
they
if there wasn't like
I
a
couldn't even
Damon.
finish that sentence. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
No. I was just got so stuck in my own anger. I couldn't even finish that sentence.
That happens to me all the time. If there wasn't a Damon, this would be a different show, though. Like, you know, the Game of Thrones had like some like Sir Davos, Jon Snow. There was like good people. There were still good people to work. There's none of that here. I mean, the last two just died with the strong. Sorry, spoilers. But you have Damon, like this freaking wild card rogue that people can't predict. That's what's really still holding the whole thing together.
Yeah.
I
think
Aemon coming in. So,
Yeah,
I mean, how much
really
of that
makes
is
the
down
show.
to like Damon partly being played by just a really good charismatic actor who just like draws your attention? Because Matt Smith absolutely knocks it out of the park with him.
I mean,
He
I
does such a
agree,
great
but
job with it.
I really like Eamon's character. He's an absolute chaos agent, basically.
Yeah.
How do you? It's really cool to have a guy who's simultaneously ego-driven and power-hungry, but also will not compromise anyone in his house because he considers the Targaryens so important, and the Valerians rather. So anyone from Valyria, really. But yeah, seeing this character wrestle between trying to reach for power at the cost of his family members, but also simultaneously can't bring them down in doing it. He keeps like going back and forth between all of these really big choices. And what's cool is whenever he sets his mind to like a big plan that he's committing to, it usually works. Even sometimes to his detriment as he realizes as he goes forward. I actually really like him, and I think it's what a fantastic choice to have Matt Smith play him.
yep.
Yeah.
When Drinker, when you and I had our stream, we had talked a lot about what makes a man very, very attractive to women, right? We were talking about James Bond.
Because clearly I'm the world's expert on this, you know.
Not that I am either, so it's all good.
Yeah.
But I think something about Damon's character, that energy that he has, it is hard to gauge where he's at, and you can see that there's the existence of both good and evil within him. But when it comes to the evil side, or like as a psychologist would put it, like his shadow, so you can tell it's very integrated. He's very in control with it, and that energy is very powerful and very attractive.
I think the interesting thing about him is that there is agency with him. There's the ability to actually formulate plans and see them through. There's like you say, a chaotic element to him as well, where like to some extent he's driven by his emotions, his ego. He doesn't always make the best decisions, but he has the ability to see things through. And he feels like the classic bad boy character. He is a dangerous man.
Yes.
And you know, I guess women will know better than I will whether that's attractive or not, but it seems like that's the essence of like a masculine character, is that combination of intellect and danger and unpredictability.
Yeah, because as a woman, you want a man that knows when to be good, but you also want someone who's dangerous enough to protect you and your household. And I know, again, very, very ancient thinking, clearly, but I truly believe that you want a man that can hold his own.
I think Jordan Peterson talked about this, didn't he? Where it was like the essence of a man, or what he can be, or what his role is almost like controlled evil. Because it's a guy who's got, he's got the ability to be dangerous and the ability to inflict violence, but he's got the self-control and the restraint to not do it unless it's necessary.
Exactly.
Whereas like what you have now with most of the characters that are presented is that they don't have that ability. You look at most male characters in Marvel films or Disney films or pretty much any mainstream studio now, they don't have agency, they don't have danger, and they don't have balls, really.
No.
Any of the elements that make them a man, they don't have it. They are just wimps.
Yeah, and they're being carried. They're being carried to the bedroom.
Yeah, and I think this. Yeah, and this is I guess where they go wrong, because you end up with a fundamentally unsatisfying story and unsatisfying characters for the audience. The men don't have things that they can look up to. They don't have characters that they can aspire to be, and women don't have characters that they find actually appealing or attractive. So nobody wins.
Nobody wins.
You know, this a comparison. This might make you laugh, but Halbrand is supposed to be like Daemon in the Rings of Power.
Damn, dude.
Oh,
That's what he's supposed to. But they
night
can't.
and day.
It is night and day. So, and what you were just talking about, the Numenori. I don't know if you saw the fight, but like they're just like they're frumpy little boys. You know, they're like not in shape. They're like YouTubers.
I said this. They are like skinny teenage boys in
Yeah.
plastic armor. Like, where are the men? Where are the big, fucking bearded, muscular men that have fought people that are hardened by battle and hardship and are dangerous and look like they could fucking kill you?
It's funny you say that because even Rhaenys was describing all the men as balls full of seed, the summer nights sort of thing. Like, even the show is like, these guys suck. Like,
Yeah, those were those early episodes that I was like, are they gonna just be dunking on men the whole time?
This is what is lacking in shows like Rings of Power, right? Is this desire to make every character young. And so apart from Elendil, who's like played by a good actor, but I still think they cut his balls off for most of his scenes. But apart from him, all of the male characters, they're all very young, and so young men don't have a great deal of gravitas to them. They don't have a great deal of authority and charisma. And so you're lacking that. There's no proper men in the show. You've got boys, a collection of boys who've got no real authority and power to them.